I am live. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, you know I'm live. Dun, 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 dun. I am live. I'm live and I'm not dying. Not yet, anyway. I might be. Let's see if anybody shows up. Because I did not announce that I was going to be here. But I am here. So, guys, I'm starting just a little bit late, but I'm doing this. So I will let you know. I'll let you know what's going on. Can we even see this on the green screen? We kind of can. Hey, Roman, how are you? Hello, Mr. Black, how are you? And we got Carrie, and we got Douglas from Alberta. Thank you, that's useful to know. In case there's another Douglas from somewhere else. Oh, look at me. Look, that's embarrassing. My little tail is sticking out. So, I rushed home to get here to do this. Busy day at the shop. The purple dew. Oh my gosh! You're here! Exploring It All has made it to Alive, which I honestly didn't think was ever going to happen because just different schedules. But hey, welcome. If you have not seen this channel with Miraculous Girl and his unboxings, they're awesome. You should check them out. Go check out that channel. I'm hoping to get some cool collaborations going. So I think the boys and the girl and the dads working together would be really cool. So, any cool guns come through the shop today? Today, no. Sorry. We have been just working on some cool stuff in general. Today we had no transfers in at all. Actually, none. Weird. Yesterday, did we have any? Yeah, yesterday we had some. Today we had no transfers. Not at all. Today we were dipping we were trying to dip. It was an aluminum. It was like a handmade, because for racing, it was a race car hood, aluminum hood, and it was going to get dipped, but we ran out of film, and we were there late doing that, and just all sorts of stuff going on. We've been working on trying to figure out. So this is going to be a little gun related thing, real quick, just right here. So on the end of most barrels on a rifle, you have either a flash hider, a compensator, or a muzzle brake, and sometimes you have all three. If you're set up to use a suppressor, which is actually not uncommon, you have something called a host, which is often kind of a flash hider when you use it without the suppressor, but it's made for the suppressor to go onto. We had a gentleman who has a short-barreled rifle, and so, sorry. And in order for that short-barreled rifle to legally not be short-barreled, and to be, so he doesn't pay for the tax stamp, he needed us to pin and weld his host to the barrel to give it that extra 1.5 inches to be within not short-barreled rifle, and so trying to figure out how to do that and make it but you don't want to interfere with the host's ability to be a host, have anything screwed on there. So I've been having some interesting, challenging days in the shop. Mr. Black wants to know, how's the family doing? The family's okay, thanks. Still looking, still trying to find that nice new home for ourselves. Having to clear out of this one in the upcoming days, but we're good. Thanks for asking. I'm still dying, but they finally passed the new Burn Pit Act thing, so I get to go to see a pulmonologist at the end of the month, which is great. Maybe they can finally find an answer for what's wrong with me. That would be nice. I don't know. So we got Battle Box posted today. Barrel and Blade was waiting for me when I got home, so I'll be able to look at that. Olight is having a sale, which I believe starts tonight, but there'll be an Olight video with a couple interesting things. They like swore me to secrecy. Like the Olight person was like, please do not reveal anything about either of these items until the video goes up. So Olight once again branching out a little bit, doing some stuff a little different from what they've done in the past. I don't know how you guys are going to like it, but we'll see. Instead of just doing the tabletop kind of opening and looking, I actually took the items with me to the shop to use a little bit. So it'll be a little bit more in-depth than the usual Olight sale video, you know? You'll get to see me actually use the things a little bit. What else can I say? They're a little bit more EDC focused than the standard Olight. I mean, you know, can't say anything more than that. You guys will see. You guys will see. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I got a caffeine up. It's been a long day. It's been a very long day. So, is it the O-gun? It's not an O-gun. No. I don't think that's going to be a thing. I brought my AR-15 to the shop today because I want to do something with it, and I don't know what. But just for practice today, I completely stripped it down. And when I say stripping, I don't mean the way most people think. I don't mean like field stripping. I mean like taking out every single pin, every single part, every spring, every detent. So it is now in a series of bags and a box at the shop till I figure out how I want to redo it. And all my magazines too. Yeah. You know, this is the funny thing. It's true they got some bad press. It all goes back to one event though. Like all the bad press from Olight goes back to one event, which all goes back to complete operator error. But they did get some very bad press, yeah. And the Olight haters, that's all that they will bring up. They'll keep bringing up that same thing and make references to that same thing over and over and over and over and over. But it is what it is. Although I have, now that I've discovered Ace Beam, I got to tell you guys, I love Ace Beam. And that was from, what's that cool box I love? Thinking about it. EDC Club. Going Gear EDC Club. Got that Ace Beam, the E70. Love that light. I love that light. It is my opinion, knives are great, that all pocket knives should be tip up all the time. So that as you take it out of your pocket, you are in position, whether it is thumb studs or flipper or whatever, your hand is automatically, so as it comes up out of your pocket, let me make this go away. So that as it comes up out of your pocket, your hand is in a natural position to deploy your blade and begin using it. If you are tipped down and you go to retrieve that out of your pocket, you then have to rotate your knife and get it. I think pocket knives should always be tip up. I know there are some diehard tip down folks. And I know that there is a logical argument to make for tip down if you carry it on your belt, and that's a whole different thing. And I understand that, and I get that. But at the same time, no, tip down, tip up always. That's. I mean, if I get a knife, like when I get a new hinderer, the first thing I do is I switch that clip to tip up. That's the way I like to carry. It's a good question, though. It's a very good question. What is your preference? Knives are great. How do you like to do it? Carry, if I could find a donut pattern scale big enough, I would absolutely do it. I carried that striker as my EDC light until I got a new Olight. Actually, I replaced it only with a new Olight. I love that M1X or MX1, whatever it is, striker. I love that light. I carried it religiously. and I only replaced the new Olight with the Ace Beam because I love the Ace Beam so much. The very first flashlight I ever carried, just to date myself here a little bit, was a 2 AAA. Oh God, I can't think of it now. A mini mag light. That was my first flash. That was the first flashlight I carried around way back in the ambulance days, and it had a little belt sheath and everything. Yeah, you had to like rotate the end, turn it on. Hey Craig, how are you? What's up? So yeah, but I remember the mag lights when when like your 4D cell mag light was like the brightest light on the market, the biggest and the best, and it still had like an incandescent bulb, and it was probably all of like 10 lumens or something like that, and that was the best flashlight you could get, like the very best. We've come so far from that. Wow. Like just thinking, hey Dwayne, how are you doing? Nice to see you. Glad you're here. In 96 when I started in the prisons, 4D cell mag lights. Yep. The 4D cell mag lights, man. You didn't even need a gun if you had one of those. You could beat somebody to death with your flashlight. They were heavy. They were like this big. And oh man, they were enormous. And I think I just tore my green screen a little bit. And then they came out. I remember then they came out with LED bulbs for your mag lights to try to keep up with technology. But who carries a mag light? Now with everything on the market, who even has a mag light anymore? It's like we've forgotten them. They served us so well for so long, and we've just forgotten all about them. Have you guys tried this? The Nitro Pepsi. Weird, but I love it. And I'm not a Pepsi fan, but it's really good. It's like somehow no bubbles, but still not flat. I don't get it. It's still not a Mountain Dew. Still not a purple Mountain Dew or a blue Mountain Dew. These you can only get at Circle K. So last time I went, there's only one Circle K around me that I know of, and I'm amazed there is one over here in Pennsylvania. But I bought 20. Literally, I'm not joking. I bought 20 of them. This stuff is smooth. They recommend, if you read the instructions or something, like that you should pour it into a glass and drink from there. But I don't do that. Yep, I still have somewhere the old 90-degree flashlight, the green flashlight. The standard ones come with a blue, a white, a clear, just whatever lens, and then a white one just to diffuse light. But in some units, they also issued a green and a yellow lens too. So I had all those. I had, and we would use, not to get too into it, but you use the green and yellow lenses for designating certain things on drop zones, airborne wise. But yeah, we had those flashlights for a long time, and I think it wasn't probably until in the early 2000s that we got issued anything else, any other, and I remember it was an Ever-Ready flashlight. It was an Ever-Ready, just commercial off-the-shelf flashlight that had it had a rotating head on it, and it had a white light. You could press a button for a red LED, a blue LED, and an infrared light to use with night vision. And that was like the first time that we had been issued any other light besides the old crookneck flashlight, the old green And man, they've been issuing those green flashlights since at least Vietnam. I don't know. You know, for a long time. For a whole long time. I can't even tell you when. I'm trying to think of how long those things were. Um, Maybe as far back as Korea. I know in Vietnam they were using those things, but those are old ass flashlights. Yeah. Do I watch other gear related YouTubers? If so, who do you watch? I watch. You know what I watch on YouTube now more than anything? I watch Forgotten Weapons. Actually, that channel more than any other channel, because that dude, I forgot his name, knows so much stuff. And I also watch. Let me just bring up a YouTube tab, because there's another guy, and again, it's something that I never thought that I would be watching. But he's fascinating. The stuff that he teaches. Let's see, where is it? I'm sure it'll come up if I just scroll here for a minute. I watch Royal Armories. Again, more gun stuff. And Technology Connections. Technology Connections teaches you about some really cool stuff. I really enjoy. And he's kind of a funny guy too. And I've learned a lot about things that I never really knew about technology and items that I've always, that I've had for a long time, but that I never thought about. So it's pretty cool. I got one of the texts. Hold on, I'm reading this from Carrie David. Sorry. That is a pretty good box. Yeah. That's a pretty good box. I just realized, like, so when I brought my rifle to the shop and all of my accessories, I had no idea how many magazines I had. I don't even know why I have that many magazines, but like I'm trying to figure out. So as I plan out what I'm going to do with my rifle, and I'm thinking just a green and a tan freehand pattern. Just I got to do all these magazines to match. And I have 9 aluminum old GI style, and I've got 8 polymer magazines. And like, I don't even remember collecting them all. I don't. Weird. Weird how that happens. I'm trying to find another guy that I just started watching too. Sorry guys, I'm back onto this channels I watch. There's somebody who I can't think of his name, and I can't find his videos right here. And for that, I am sorry. But he did a great breakdown of the Uvalde situation and the ineptitude of the police officers that responded. I had to watch Disneyland Hacks the last couple of days. Oh, God, I'd love to take the boys to Disney, but it's not going to happen anytime soon, but I'm working on it. But I can't remember his name. Maybe some of you guys have seen the video. He did a great breakdown of the whole thing. I just can't think of his name. Cannot think of his name. And then Ami, their whole channel with everything they've got. That's pretty good. I watch Dark Skies videos and Dark whatever he has. Like sometimes it's a lot of times he'll give you 90% great information, and then like the one glaring mistake he makes me crazy. But that's me being a dick. So you know. But I watch. I don't so much watch a whole lot of YouTube channels so much as I need to know something, so I look it up specifically. But those are kind of the standard channels that I watch over and over and over. And then with Ethan, there are some channels that me and Ethan watch together over and over because those are the ones he likes. So he likes to watch something called Nerdy Crafter and someone called Mariah Elizabeth, and they're arts and crafts type channels. So we watch them together. And squishy makeovers. We watch a lot of. With Ethan, I have to watch a lot of squishy makeover videos. You know, squishies are little squeezy things. They look like stuffed animals, but you squeeze them. And yeah, and so that's fun. Believe me. So that's kind of what I watch. I watch channels of people that I'm kind of friends with. You know, like I love Video Addict, CB Tactical, Exploring It All. I love watching the interaction with Miraculous Girl and stuff because I do videos with my boys. So you know, I like the father kid dynamic thing. I'm drawing a blank right now, and I don't know why. Minecraft. You know what? I don't understand how kids. I don't get it. Kids can have, and my kids more than anybody. They could play a video game, but they will sit on YouTube for hours if I let them and watch someone else play the video game. Now I understand. Like, let's say you're having trouble with it. Like, okay, so when I was their age, there was no YouTube. You either had to have a Nintendo Power magazine, or you had to like know somebody that could come over your house and be like, watch, this is how you do it. So I understand watching a video because you can't beat this part. You need help. You need to see a walkthrough. But they will spend hours and hours and hours just watching someone else play a video game. I don't get it. Like, Kurt, the moving process is not going well at all. It's just, I got to stay in this area because this is where everybody's settled. I'm not uprooting kids. This is where I have work, you know. This is where there's family support, and there's just not a lot available here. So I'm just trying. I'm trying to find a place, and you know, it's just not it's not easy. Yeah, Dominic, I have seen that ridiculous video. But did you see that video by Brandon Herrera got taken down by YouTube? Yeah. Did you see that? they took his video down because he essentially taught you how to make the gun in that video. What's even better is, did you see Angry Cop's reaction to the Brandon Herrera video? I don't know. Somebody translate this to me. I don't know. Yeah, and so yeah, YouTube took down the Brandon Herrera video. I don't know if it came back up in an edited form, but oh no way, that's what it was. Okay, yeah, but you know, let's face it, it's kind of dumb to video the entire process of making a homemade firearm and throwing it up on YouTube. Like, you knew that was gonna get in some kind of trouble. Like, you could have made the thing and explained, here's kind of what I did, and then tested it. It's on his Patreon. Well, you know, that's a whole different story. It's on his Patreon. You know what? I'm not trying to assign any ulterior motive, but what a great plan to put it on YouTube. Gets pulled, and he's like, oh, but if you want to see it, it's on my Patreon. Yeah. But here's the funny part. So Angry Cop, if you guys aren't familiar with Angry Cops, he's a funny guy on YouTube. He's actually a reserve or National Guard drill sergeant. He's a police officer up in Buffalo, or he's retired from one or both, or I don't know. But he makes some really funny videos, and he's actually friends with Brandon Herrera. So he was just busting his balls. And I do not like conspiracies. In fact, I didn't read. I listened to a whole book on Audible about why people believe in conspiracy theories and what is the difference between a real conspiracy and a conspiracy theory. It was great. It was wonderful. But anyway, because Angry Cops is a reaction video to the Brandon Herrera, he has like 80% of Brandon Herrera's video in it, and it's still up and fine. YouTube didn't touch it. But Brandon Herrera's actual video got pulled. So it's just really funny. And Angry Cops, the guy even said, he's like, I feel terrible. Here I am making, well, you know what, but it does make sense, because yes, you can get the gunpowder anywhere, but it's YouTube's terms of service. It makes perfect sense. You violated their terms of service. Like you can learn how to make a gun somewhere, but you can't make one on YouTube and show it. It's their rule. Like, it's their house. You got to follow their rules. I've had videos pulled too, for, see, and this is a mature thing to do. Like, I respect that a lot. You say, hey, I screwed up and sorry. I had to do this recently with another video. You know what I mean? But anyway, rather than some YouTubers will blatantly break the rules, or on any platform, and then talk about how their rights are violated and how they're persecuted and all this stuff. Well, no, you broke a rule. I totally respect the dude who says, like, hey, you know what? I guess I screwed that up. I'm not sorry, guys. Here I've changed it so it fits within the rules, and now. Because who loses out when people have those kind of little tantrums? The actual viewers. The viewers have those. They don't get, they're just like, well, but I don't get to see a video now. So it's pretty cool. Warren, I'm sorry. I get it. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Sorry, Warren. So do I. But I get what you're talking about. I forget that the comments are a little delayed. I get what you're talking about now. But anyway, so we were talking about Angry Cops and how he basically said he felt terrible. His video was still up and he was still making money when Brandon Herrera's video got pulled. But I'm glad that Brandon was able to say, like, hey, I screwed that up. Let me make a version that's acceptable. And what's going to happen because of that? Over time, YouTube's going to let that strike fade off his channel, and he's going to be fine. He's going to be good to go. After a certain amount of time, when he doesn't have another strike, it's going to go away. Now, I have had videos pulled, but I've never gotten a strike because there's a difference between a community violation and a term of service violation. And off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you what it is. When you get a community violation, it's like, you're a bad boy, don't do that. When you get a terms of service violation, you get strikes. And that's, but you get 3 strikes. So, one doesn't really hurt you. I mean, it's not good, but, did it collab? Gun and a robot dog. I don't think this is a term of service violation. If he showed how to make a gun, then it is. Ian McCallum, you got the name. Thank you. Yeah. But so if you you gotta be careful. Like, you gotta be careful. So here's what you guys may know or may not know. When you go to monetize a video, you have a checklist. Like, so when you click monetize, there is Ian McCallum is like this. He has forgotten more about firearms than I've ever known in my life. He's an amazing dude. and he could rattle stuff off that it blows my mind. But anyway, so when you go to monetize a video, you have to. They give you a checklist, like they give you a checklist to go through every single time, and you have to basically go through, and there's different levels for like all these different categories of stuff, and at the very bottom, you could click none of these apply. And if you click none of these apply, your video is considered safe, what they call safe for advertisers, because that's what YouTube really cares about, right? Safe for advertisers. But it also means that you are not violating any of the terms of service, any of the community standards. That's what I was thinking. Community standards and terms of service. You're not violating any community standards. Now, inside of each one of these things, again, there's different levels. And so, like, let's say that there's one section that says firearms related content. And in it, now I've had to click that button from time to time with some of the new videos. And in it, you can click, it discusses firearms, in a general manner. It shows firearms in a safe environment. It shows firearms being used violently, or it shows extensive assembly of firearms parts. It gives you all these things, and as you click through them, you get more into the so you can't monetize this video, or all the way there are somewhere it will tell you like this video may be in violation of it. Basically, what they're saying is, as you get further and further down this checklist, if you're checking yes, they're like, hey, you're rolling the dice on this. Are you sure you want to do this? If you click no, if you go through this and you click yes, and they're like, are you sure? You're less like you could get like a community. You're less likely to get a big slap in the face, because at least you fessed up when you went to and your video could get demonetized. Which is the first thing that could happen. But if you were to check no, if you just go through and you check none of these, and then they catch you doing that, that's a huge term of service violation, because not only does your video violate terms of service, but you like lied about it to them. Like, so there's and they're constantly, so as creators on YouTube, they're constantly pushing out these alerts, and there's videos that they give all the time that you're supposed to watch, that content creators are supposed to watch to keep up with the newest changes. And I'll admit it, if the title sounds like it doesn't apply to me, I don't watch them. I don't. But they may give out those one or two tidbits of information that you really need to know about your specific channel or something. So it's hard. And there are videos that I've put up that were totally fine a year ago when I put them up. They were like, YouTube's like, fine, monetize, whatever. And then I just do a periodic look, and I find out that for some mysterious amount of time, it has been demonetized by YouTube. I don't know why. YouTube doesn't tell you why things are demonetized either. They don't tell you. They give you the same canned answer. It violates some standard. You have the option to appeal, and I always do. And I say, I think that this video is fine. And what happens more often than not is a day later, I get an email that says, after further review, your video was found to be suitable for all blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, then what the fuck was your problem? But, look, and I've said this over and over, I don't make money off YouTube. I don't. I lose money every month on YouTube. I do it for the love of the game. But, it bugs me, like, how long was the video up there that I could have made a couple cents on to help balance out the equation, that it wasn't, because some idiot, and it's probably some bot. It's a bot that they use. It's not a person. Flagged the video for some stupid reason that, we don't know about. So when Brandon's video got pulled, for a video to actually get pulled, some human being has to see it and say, no, we need, so like the bot says something's wrong, and a human being has to physically take it down. That's a whole different thing than just having it kind of flagged as unsuitable or a community violation. So when he put up that video somebody was alerted. Now, what I'm willing to bet happened is some Karen out there in the world reported it, because that's usually how that stuff happens. I've had my videos reported too, because I've had people tell me I'm reporting your video, and I've never had a reported video lead to anything, because my videos don't violate stuff. They don't. But that particular video did, and that's yeah, the random. That's right, the random unknown community standards. I've had Facebook. I've been in Facebook jail plenty of times because there was a post on whales. Somebody was posted a picture of a whale, and I typed the word whale, and I got a warning that it could be on Facebook. I mean, like that could be offensive. And I'm like, to whales? I don't get it. But I mean, it's it's the wokeness. It is it's ruining everything. So it is ridiculous. It is just absolutely ridiculous. But I'm glad that Brandon Herrera was able to kind of recover from that. Yeah, he had his weeks-long vacation from posting, but and I didn't know that he lost some sponsorship over it, but I also have a feeling that he's okay in terms of the numbers. He's going to be all right. And if anything, I think he probably, after a controversy like that, I think that the creator ends up getting some views at the end of it, because people want to go to that channel and see what's going on. Not that views equals paycheck from YouTube, because it doesn't. Believe me, it doesn't. It's a lot more than that. But only a computer can understand the algorithm anyway. So, I believe me, I have spent time really trying to understand the mysterious algorithm, and I don't. I mean, I don't. I don't even think YouTube understands it. I think they lie. If YouTube tells you they understand their own algorithm and how that works, they're lying. They don't get it. Nobody gets it. I don't even think there is one. So, I did not intend to spend a half hour talking about Brandon Herrera and his Japanese gun video. but there it is, and here we are. As always, these live streams go. So, yeah. I've got a new giveaway coming up, because I've been experimenting with some new stuff in the shop. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but we will have an end of the summer giveaway coming up on the channel. Same thing as always, just be a subscriber to the channel, and there'll be a video, and you guys will comment on the video something that I tell you that will be the entry thing, and that'll be fun. I'm glad we all had a good. I'm so glad that the response to the off-grid Cayman was as good as it was, because I truly thought that knife sucked. I really did, and I'm glad that you guys out there appreciated it. I mean, that means more to me than anything. But it's awesome that there were so many people that wanted to enter for that knife, and I'm glad it's going to somebody that's going to love it and appreciate it. So. Unfortunately, it's being shipped internationally. I just hope it gets there. Ugh. But that's gonna be pretty cool. That's gonna get into somebody's hands, and hopefully, I'll get like a picture of it, and I'll get to see how it ends up. That'll make me really happy. World War II machete. Goldwasser liqueur. I don't know if I take those 5 shots. I don't know if I would take those shots. I don't know. I might just leave those shots in the bottle. Yeah. So, interesting. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I will, so the response from the channel at large over some firearm stuff has been mostly positive. There's been some negative comments, but I've noticed they're mostly from overseas viewers, which I guess kind of makes sense, because they're not let's face it, in the United States, we are a gun culture. We are. So I'm not going. Somebody suggest, what was your first knife and firearm? Knives. I couldn't tell you what my first knife was. It was so long ago. The first, I can tell you right now that the first firearm I ever shot was a Marlin 22 rifle, bolt action. Exact model, I don't know, but I know that it was a Marlin bolt action 22. And it was at camp. It was at a summer camp that I went to when I was 10, 11. I don't know. My dad introduced me to knives very, very young, and taught me all about them. I was not allowed to use firearms until after I had that experience of learning how to safely, operate the 22. Then I was allowed to join him with some other stuff. But yeah, I remember everything about that Marlin. It was cool. It was a single shot breech loading bolt action 22. And me and her, we became very good friends that summer. Yeah. And I was not a very good shot then. I was not, but it was back then when you're like 10 years old and you've never shot anything before. 22 is a big deal. 22 is a very big deal. 22 long rifle. And yeah, it was pretty cool. I loved it. Now I just love, one of the cool things about being in the shop is that when we build a firearm or like we put one back together and everything, we have to function test it. So we have a clearing barrel basically that we get to just shoot every gun into to make sure it's operable and everything. It's just the smell of having fired a gun just makes me happy. Just makes me very, very happy. So, but I still remember that smell. That the first time I ever smelled that smell of fired gunpowder was that Marlin 22. It's awesome. What's your favorite firearm you own? My favorite firearm I own. Well, okay, it's going to be a firearm I don't own anymore because I had to sell it. But I was able to pick up, and you guys are going to ask me the model of it. I don't know. I was able to pick up a Kimber 1911 for a great price back in 2006. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Everything they say about Kimbers are good, are great. It's true. I loved it. It's the only 1911 I've ever had, and I wish I still had it. What are some good? There are two really good ones that I love. The first is very obvious. It's Red Storm Rising. It's a great book. It's very dated now, based on the hardware and the weapons. 1980s. The second is Team Yankee, which is also very dated. Very dated and 1980s, but they have a lot of similarities. But at the same time, Team Yankee follows one officer with one unit through his brief world, because World War III is a brief fight, through his battles, I should say. Whereas Red Storm Rising covers the globe. But Red Storm Rising is awesome. These these are two. That's like comparing. That's like saying, what do you like better, breathing, compressed air or Scott Pack or scuba tank? Benchmade and Spyderco are not comparable brands because they produce different types of knives. So, there's not one that I would... Anybody who would tell you, like, one is better than the other probably has an agenda out there. They make different knives. Spyderco and Benchmade just make different knives. I have plenty of both in my collection. Do I remember yes, I do. The biggest gun I've ever shot was the M242 Bushmaster, 25 millimeter chain gun on an M3 Bradley. Yeah, I mean, that's probably not what you meant, but that is the biggest gun I've ever shot. It's the main gun on the Bradley. But what you're probably talking about was one I actually fired by hand, and that would be the Mark 19 -3 40 millimeter fully automatic grenade launcher. Because fuck you and everybody else around you is why they invented that one. That's just insane. And if you haven't seen videos of a Mark 19 fire, you should. Now, in terms of actually being deployed as my personal weapon that I carried, I've never deployed with anything bigger on my person than an M16 with an M203. I fired the M2, I fired the M60, I fired the M240. I never fired an M249, the squad automatic weapon. I never got to. Dave is teasing me about my 69 round burst in basic training. I've told this story. Aiden's made me tell this story. When I was in basic training at Fort Knox, my drill sergeant had a very, very thick Puerto Rican accent, and I was already wearing my Kevlar helmet, which I couldn't hear a lot anyway. We were training with the M60 because it was in the 90s, and he said you will fire a 6. I've told the story, so sorry if you heard it. He said fire a 6 to 9, 6 between 6 and 9. Fire a 6 to 9 round burst in my helmet with his accent and everything going on, and the excitement of learning I'm going to fire a light machine gun. I heard you will fire a 69 round burst. So, okay. So there's everybody else on the range. All tucked in nice and tight. Brr, brr, brr. And there's me. Brr, getting ready to melt a barrel on an M60. Yeah, that's great. What's the biggest caliber gun you own? 45. I mean, it depends, Peter. So if you want biggest caliber in straight numbers, it's 45. But again, that's relatively low velocity. And a 223 round compared to a 45 round is relatively small. But I mean, so in terms of actual diameter, a 45 is the largest caliber gun I've ever owned. I've owned 22, I've owned 9, 40, 45, 223/556. That's what I've owned. Yeah. I've never owned a shotgun in my life. And people are always shocked when they hear that. And they're like, why not? And I'm like, I don't know. I just never did. I don't know. Oh, Dominic, you looked up the Bushmaster. Yeah. Now, I was not a gunner on the Bradley. That wasn't my position. When I was in the Bradley, I was a dismount scout in the back. But on range day, there's always extra ammo. So, every swinging dick gets to come on up and pop off a few rounds from the gunner's position. So I got to shoot I got to shoot the actual gun. I got to shoot the M240C, which is the coaxial mounted 7.62. But by the way, as a scout, you learn to shoot so many things. So, yeah. I have shot 12 gauge, by the way. I have plenty of friends that have owned shotguns. I've shot 12, 14. I think I might have even shot 20 gauge, though I don't even know why 20 gauge exists. But I've shot plenty of 7.62 various things. I knew a guy so good. He could single round fire any machine gun you put him behind. So it was pretty good. I mean, he was really good. If you want to know my favorite thing I've ever shot, it's the M2. It's a 50 caliber because there's two rate of fire settings on the 50, and it just, no matter which one you have it on, the high or the low rate of fire, it's just such a distinctive sound. And the low rate of fire, though, it's the it like it's just such a distinctive sound. It's awesome. And the way that, so if you have it, even if you have it properly mounted up, so you don't just put the 50 caliber on like, so it's on I'm trying to explain it. So even on a mount, it's got like these supports that it never just, you can have it just swing free, but like when you have it on top of a vehicle, you have it like locked in, because that thing will shake your bones. And so even when it's locked in, though, you feel that through your whole arms and your whole body. It's an amazing weapon to shoot. It's just awesome. I can't even begin. I love shooting the 50 caliber. I miss that a lot. I've never manned a 50 caliber in combat, by the way. I want to make that clear. I've never fired it downrange. I've trained with it. I was never like a machine gunner downrange. That's why I said, like, that's why I made a very clear distinction to when I've deployed, the biggest weapon I've carried has been the 16 with the 203 on it. So that's, but being deployed, I've been right next to dudes with shooting every manner of everything. It's been pretty cool. I've never so when I deployed with an M4, or it's funny, the Air Force. So the Air Force has to be the Air Force. The Air Force's M4 is a GAU-5. It's the same thing. I've never seen, and people that bitch about head spacing don't know how to clean an M2 properly, Craig. That's the problem. That's what I've learned. I've never seen an M2 jam down range, and it is a bitch to take apart and clean, and a lot of people don't do it properly because of that. But but what I've learned from a lot of gunners down range is that the people that bitch about head spacing probably haven't cleaned the gun properly. But I've never deployed with an M4 with the grenade launcher on it. I know a lot of folks, they've done that. The only time I've ever had the grenade launcher was back when I had a good old M16. And we jokingly call them the longbow because it's, but yeah. And the sighting on an M203 is ridiculous, because of course it's an arc weapon. It's not direct fire. You don't shoot point A to point B. You've got to arc that thing in there. So you have a sight on the front of the rifle, and then you've got a thing on the back, and you got to like line it up so it goes woo. But you got to know the distance, or at least estimate the distance that the round has to go. The round has to go a certain distance before it even arms. So if you screw that up and it falls short, it might not even arm. Saw a dude once that actually shot his round into a tree. Thank God it didn't go far enough to arm, because it hit the tree and came down. But yeah, I miss a lot of the military stuff, but that's why, again, working in the shop is great, because you get to see so much stuff. We did SCAR 17 in the other day, and it's just like, oh yeah, that's cool. There's an SR-25. If you don't know what the SR-25 is, look it up. It's an awesome rifle. I'll give you the short story is the Navy SEALs wanted Delta Delta. That's right. Delta and the Navy SEALs wanted a new rifle, and the they got the SR-25, and then they came out with a better version. So basically, a handful of the actual, like, no shit, deployed SR-25 uppers they were in good condition. So Knight's Armament just put them to civilian, sellable lowers. And there's a bunch of these actual SR-25s that were in the hands of, like, some hardcore operators out in the world somewhere. And it's, yeah. It's on there. Craig, I don't remember how many yards for its arm. I fuck if I know. I can't remember. Maybe 20, 25. I don't know. I just remember it has to go a certain distance. Let's see. Is that it? Are you making that up? Did you look it up? I don't know. Is it 33 yards? That would be a ridiculous number for them to pick. I don't know. I have no idea. The training rounds for the M4. No, Phil, it wasn't. It devolved into this because we were talking about Brandon Herrera. The training round for the M203 is really funny because it's basically like a pink-orange powder round. So, because it's the only way to tell, like, you can't, it's not like when you're on the range for the M203, you have like these pinkish orange powder rounds. So you shoot it and it lands and makes this puff, and you see like a big, like, almost like a paintball, but it's not a paintball. It's like orange powder where it lands. And it's fun because the range for the M203 is like, you have to get it in a truck bed, you have to put it through a window, and the window is literally, it's like the like a false front of a, I mean, it's wood planks with a square cut in it. Carrie, I don't know. No, I think the ghosts from the haunted barn have to stay here. Like, they can only leave the property for 24 hours on Halloween, and whatever. So it's, yeah, but the range for the 203 was always fun. Not as much fun as the grenade assault course, the grenade confidence course, but that was, let's see. Oh, so you already knew the answer, Craig. You were just like trying to play stump the dummy with me. Craig already knew the answer when he asked me the minimum range for the M203 for the 40 millimeter grenade. He was just trying to see if I knew. And according to Global Security, the 40 millimeter grenade has a minimum arming range of 14 to 28 meters. If the round strikes an object before it is armed, it will not detonate. So I thought it was about 25 meters because I know that both the 40 millimeter grenade and the frag grenade have a 5 meter lethal radius when they go off. Yeah, Dave, a lot of people did, but Craig, so your guy was wrong. It's not 33 meters. It's 14 to 28 meters. Because I trust Global Security pretty much. That's a reputable site.
Hello, sweetie.
Yeah, a lot of people do screw up on the grenade course and freeze up, and Carrie, if I remember right, you could there's a way you could set that. And there's also the other thing, Carrie, is there's different rounds. They're not all the same. You've got different types of rounds, 40 millimeter rounds. So you've got like a high explosive. You've got one that is, how should I say, more anti-personnel. Not quite a cliche round, but more that's, yeah. So you've got different types. different types of rounds. So that also could go into the spacing between the 14 and the 28. You've got some that are smoke rounds. So different stuff. Yeah, Phil, you can send me that later. A 40 millimeter frag grenade does have less power in it than an actual M76 or M67 or M72 hand grenade does. Just by the nature of the size of the round, you have the ability to send it farther than the average guy can throw a frag grenade. So, Peter, you going in the cabinet? Okay, you go in the cabinet over there. But the whole thing is that you can aim the 40 millimeter, and when you're shooting the Mark 19, when I say fully automatic grenade launcher, I mean fully automatic. Like, it's a grenade machine gun. There are no survivors. It is, but here's the funny thing too: the Mark 19, that is a direct fire weapon. Or that's how we used it anyway. We used it like on convoy escorts, on ECPs, entry control points. So the Mark 19 was used very differently than the M203, even though they could fire the same range, the same family of grenades. It's just, it's kind of weird. But yeah, now, I mean, you could fire the Mark 19 single fire if you wanted to. But I've literally seen a Humvee. So if they had the Mark 19 fully 90 degrees shooting to the side of the Humvee, at a certain point with the recoil, that Humvee's gonna tip over, like the old unarmored, lightweight ones. But it's a lot of fun to do. No, Phil, it's not like carpet bombing. It's not. It's not that strong. It's like shooting a machine gun with explosive bullets in it. It's you're not covering a wide area. You're just putting a lot of explosive rounds in one spot all at once. Whereas carpet bombing is taking a lot of airplanes with a lot of bombs and flying them over an area about at least a mile long and several whatever's wide. You're talking about wiping out. No, it's not. Phil, you're trying to compare apples to grapefruits. The explosions aren't really big. The movies make grenade explosions look like these big fireballs and everything. A grenade explosion looks like a puff of smoke. Craig, I have no idea what the maximum range of a Mark 19 is. I don't have a fucking clue. I have no idea. I have no idea. Let's look up what the maximum range of the Mark 19 is. I'm sure it also has to do with the different rounds you're using. (2,212 meters). Though its effective range at a point target is 1,500 meters. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for your support and watching the videos. So Phil, when you're watching somebody shoot a Mark 19 on full automatic, it's almost hard to discern each individual impact because they're all going to one place, as opposed to being spaced out. So it's like it's you can't even really tell one from another. Like, you can't see that individual boom, 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 boom. You just hear like boom, like when they all hit. It's just a big old mess. Yeah. So, wow, guys, it's almost 8 o'clock. So, see, we start talking about guns and we just go. Somehow this always ends up being about guns. I don't know how that happens. We always end up talking about guns. And that's fine with me. I don't mind. It's never planned. But, That's how we do. So anyway, I'm gonna go get something to eat. What was my overall feeling of this month's battle box? I'm gonna answer this, then we're gonna go. It was okay. There were a couple okay items. That fillet kit was way overpriced. Stupid dog collar was dumb. The mini turd is useful. I'm still on the fence about that knife, though. I don't know. I liked it. I don't love it. But I liked it. It was okay. Not great. It was okay. It was okay. Not the worst battle box we've seen by far. Not the best battle box we've seen, but it was okay. It was all right. I think having the Pro box being all inseparable, one big thing though, kind of sucked because, and also being able to so that company only sells stuff. They don't sell it through any other distributors. They only sell, like if you go to Amazon, it's through their Amazon store. Like you can't find their stuff listed anywhere else, so they set their price. I just don't think that knife was worth what they said it was. I don't. You can't find another cutting board that folds up exactly like that, but there were other travel cutting boards, and they put way too big a value on that little neoprene case. You could buy a case, but anyway, yeah, some Man Plus, I guess. Anyway, I'm going to unbox Barrel and Blade tonight. We'll see what we've got, so that'll be fun. And I've got some other stuff, some other videos still in the pipeline waiting for you guys that I've had just to work on, that I've been saving, just for when I need some stuff. So we'll see that real soon. Plus Olight video tomorrow, which should be some interesting stuff. So remember, guys, that you are all absolutely awesome, and I appreciate every single one of you. And I will try my hardest to make it on time next week. So, yeah, you guys be cool, and I'll see you here again next week. Thanks a lot for tuning in.